What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about ANTE and some other crypto mining stocks today. We'll probably go over CleanSpark, Marathon, Riot, why not, IREN. Let's do those as well. Nobody requested them, but let's just talk about it. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Again, nobody requested those other ones. I'm throwing them in here because those are some very common ones that everybody is interested in. I didn't want to just talk about ANTE, so I figured we'd mesh it up in there a little bit. This is at the request of J Bear into house. J Bear, welcome to the house, or thank you for having us into house. However it works. Everybody say hi to J Bear. ANTE, AirNet Technology. Here we are. What a horrible dump you had there. Wow, a lot of volume too. 88% in a week. Yikes, bro. Yikes. In the midst of a bull market, is this a crypto? He said ANTE. Are there multiples? AirNet. I'm gonna make sure I chose the right one. Let me just see real quick. Hold on. Let's see. Where you at? You didn't say. You just said it's a mining stock. Okay. Well, I'm assuming that this is the one, right? It's the only one that's on an American exchange. If it's ever ones that are not, you know what? Let's just look it up real quick. I want to make sure. Okay, hold on. ANTE crypto mining stock. AirNet Technology, so that's that. Do they actually mine Bitcoin though? Purchase of AirNet announces a purchase of cryptocurrency mining machines. Okay, wow. And this was when? When did they announce that actually? That can be a big deal. I'm just saying, like, that can be a really big deal. October 18th. Wait, no, sorry, that's the price. Okay, that was okay. I gotcha. Deficiency letters, no. I just want to know. Come on, go back. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying here. Is this not? I don't know, man. I never use Yahoo Finance anyways. Let's just look at the news and we'll just see. Purchase of cryptocurrency, May 31st. Okay, so that's not that exciting then. Damn, came out in May that they announced that, and you've dropped, bro. You dropped recently. Must not be going well for you, which is crazy, honestly. This should be like some of the most profitable crypto mining for any bull market that we've had, actually. Depending on where you are in the world. Okay, let's stop dilly-dallying. From a low to a high. Pull down your 141.4 just below there, and you're back up above your 1272. The next area that I expect you're at 40 cents now would be 56 cents to 67, 68 cents. Let's say 56 to 68 cents. 56 cents, 68 cents. That's the target area that you're going to go to. If you can get above 68 cents, I will start to be a little bit convinced this is your low. I'm even a little bit convinced now, but until then, I'm skeptical, right? This could just be another low in a series of lows, but certainly a low nonetheless is what I would expect. If it's not, if you have more immediate downside to go, well, then one of two things is going to happen. Either tomorrow on Monday, you're going to just dump right below there, or you're going to move up, find resistance there, and then continue to move down. But time will tell. So next area that I really expect to be 56 cents to 68 cents. Let's go from there. Let me know when you break above it. If you want, J Bear, if you want to talk about this one again, just let me know whenever you're above that price, above like 68 cents. If we get above there and we don't just prick above there, but we're closing days above there, let's talk about it more and see if we can get a better idea of where this thing's going. If it's going to continue up, if you're just going to find a little bit more of a pump than that, and then find another lower high, you know, stuff like that. Until then, let's just run with this, moving up there, and we'll see what you do afterwards. Okay. ANTE. CleanSpark is the next one we're going to talk about. Then we're going to talk about Marathon, and then Riot, and then IREN. CleanSpark moving up 37%, 38% this month already. Love to see it, right? If we take an overall high to a low here, it's good to look at this sometimes. Found resistance at your golden ratio once, found resistance at it twice. You pulled back to a kind of unconventional zone, but it is an area where you found resistance before, support before, support before, so that's fair. Even if it's unconventional in the fibs, it's conventional in the price. From a low to a high here, you did pull back to this 382, which that in itself is very conventional, especially on strong moves. I very much would expect that you see extensions based off of this, just based off of that retracement you saw. So something around $33 to $50. I'm not saying that I think this is going to happen. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm saying, like, I'm absurdly confident. I would bet a lot of money. Like there's no way in hell that CleanSpark doesn't see these prices by the end of this next move, let alone by the end of this cycle, right? That's its next move. It could go higher. By the end of the cycle, I am looking for that $100 zone. Maybe as high as 300, but you know, it's looking a little bit less likely now, but time will tell, man. This thing can move up a lot in a very short amount of time, right? Like, you know, if we go like that, if we were to double that, if we were to do that again, I mean, you'd be all the way up at 100. I don't know. That's kind of exactly what I'm expecting. So maybe not 300, honestly. Anyways, next move though, definitely $33 to $50 is what I'm thinking. We're consolidating now, right? Or we're moving up a little bit now. Last week closed above the 50 on the weekly RSI, tipping the oversold zone and getting above the 50 so immediately like that. That's such a bullish thing to do. I mean, look at what you did last time, right? Tipped it, went above it immediately, consolidated, then continue up, right? Tipped it down here, went above it immediately, found a little bit of resistance, found your higher low, and then you continued immediately. I do think that you'll probably go to this zone right now rather immediately, like by the end of October, if not sometime in November. You'll probably consolidate again as you did for a while. You'll probably consolidate in the zone again, but for a lot less time, and then continue to move up, right? I would expect this kind of consolidation phase that you achieve once you hit this area of resistance, I would expect it to be kind of similar to something like this, right? Very short-lived, not like this, not something so long-lived, right? So where's that area going to be based off fibs from a high to a low? We can expect $16 to $17.50, $17.50, maybe as high as $22. I wouldn't get excited until we start closing days above $21.75. We close days above $21.75. I'll get excited that we don't need to consolidate in this area. In fact, we can just break straight out. But we'd have to close 2 days at least, I think, above that level there. So 1286 right now, moving up overall. If it moves down from here, don't worry, right? We actually are in this gap right here. We are right above the 382. It's very common to find resistance, but all in all, like even if we move down, you're still moving on your way. It's going to be a higher low. You're on your way up to 1610 to 1745. That's my genuine opinion. Probably by the end of this month, if not very early or sometime in November. CleanSpark. Marathon's the next one that we're going to talk about. Mara. They call it Mara, but it's Marathon. It's not Marathon. I've heard the guys at the Bitcoin conference, somebody, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Shrey from Shrey TV. Shout out to Shrey. I don't think he watches my channel, but I watch his stuff sometimes. I like to hop on his live streams. I don't know. It's chill, right? But I think he was talking to someone from Marathon, if I'm remembering correctly, and they said Mara. The people from Marathon were saying Mara. I don't get that. How are you Mara? But you say Marathon, why wouldn't you just be Mara? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, man. But it is America. You can do whatever you want, man. 1888 is your price from the high in November 2021, the cycle high that you had last cycle, to the cycle low that we had in December 2022. From the high to the low of $83 down to $3.11. You've retraced all the way up to your 61869 zone, consolidated between there and the 0.5 very well. Got a little bit below it, and that's not conventional, but it's fine. You're holding above it mainly. I would expect that when you do interact with this 61869 zone again, you're going to break through it. That doesn't mean that you have to just do a straight shot through it. You absolutely could consolidate in this area, right? And then move up. That's very possible. But certainly I do expect you're going to move up. You're probably going to see prices at, what is that, $41 to $57 by the end of the year. That's kind of my expectation by the end of this next move, right? Time will tell. Bullish looking weekly RSI, bullish looking daily RSI. Yeah, I definitely think you're going to move up. What I also like on the weekly is that you're holding above this 123, this green line, the moving average there. Found resistance in this area, found resistance, you broke above it here, and it's been support ever since. So it's also, it was sloping down. Now it's starting to slope up. That's a big deal, man. That's a real big deal. That's a nice week you had, 17% about average volume. Like you're getting above the 50. A lot of things are starting to come into play here that are good for this thing to see expansion, and I think you will, especially going into the end of the year. Again, I think there's no reason to believe otherwise, right? That you would be at prices around $40 or higher. That's my genuine opinion. So 40 to 60 bucks genuinely is where I think you're going to go. You're at 1888 now, and by the end of the cycle, it's got a lot higher targets in mind. We can just do that real quick. From a high to a low, $200, 637. Yeah, doable by the end of this cycle. Absolutely. Marathon hasn't even let loose yet, man. It's moved up a little bit, but look at what it did last cycle. I would expect that we see similar growth. Maybe not overall, right? I don't think that this cycle as a whole will grow as much as Marathon did last cycle, but I do think that we're going to see some life like this, like we did last cycle. I'm kind of curious, actually. So you topped off technically in November, but your bull market ended in April, kind of like Bitcoin. So you're very, very tailored to Bitcoin. That took 13 months. So already, I don't think that's going to happen, right? Already, I don't think you're going to move like that. But I mean, that'd put you up at thousands of dollars. Yeah, I don't expect you to move just like this, right? But I think you will have months or like multiple months in a row that will be larger than any of these phases of growth. That'll be more reminiscent of these movements that we saw back here. Again, not as a whole. I don't think we'll replicate that exactly. I'm just really trying to say I think the best has yet to come of this cycle, and this next move up to these next highs could happen very fast, as we've done before, right? Marathon has legs when it wants to run. So that's Marathon. Let's talk about RIOT. Riot. Moved up nice, 32% last week. Love it, man. Hell yeah. Or 32% this month, up 17% last week, above the 50. Didn't even get oversold. Beautiful. Showing strength where it matters, man. Good job. Low to high, right at your 1414, back up above the 886, closing a week above there, bro. That really does help solidify or give the notion that this is a low, especially with how bullish the rest of the mining stocks look and crypto as a whole. You're also above your 123 moving average. And it's sloping up, dude. This is bullish. What's your long term look like? I haven't looked at the long terms as much as I should for these ones. You're not above the 50. I'm surprised. That's crazy. I guess I'm not surprised. You've been below your moving average for, but anyways, yeah, I definitely think you're going to move up from here. You're at 986 now. Don't be surprised if you pull back even down to like 860, 940, right? A little kind of minor pullback that could happen. You might just immediately continue. All in all, I would expect that this move here that you're a part of, right? I do expect it does continue out of these highs. And you go to new cycle highs. I definitely do expect that. But relative, if I could just get this, I'm sorry, it got all messed up, man. From a high to a low. Oh, that's right. I was looking at the low to high. We'll look at that other fib in a second too, because I think that's kind of promising. All in all, though, I think that you are going to move up to about 1090 to 1160, probably in a very short amount of time. You might move up just a little bit more right now immediately to start this next week, and then move back down a little bit, find that higher low, somewhere around this area, if not a little bit lower. If we look at this fib, the one that I was mistakenly drawn from a high to a low here, you're at your 382, like literally right at it. So again, finding resistance at this point, you don't have to move up immediately, but you know, maybe you do. Maybe you go just through the 382, which is very common on the first attempt, and this is your first attempt to it. And just above that 382 is the 618, 69 zone right there, man. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. But if you find resistance here, 840, I bet you hold 840. I don't think you go below there. And that would ultimately just be a higher low that sends you up to higher prices. Inevitably, I would think $28 to $42 by the end of the year is a doable target. $43. That's RIOT. Let's now finish this video with Iris Energy. That makes sense. Iron, right? Not like Irene. It's Iron. Finding support on the 50. Very, very bullish weekly RSI. You guys want to see what a bullish... You want to look not at the price ever. You just want to look at the RSI and know when to buy. This is a good zone to buy, just like this was a good zone to buy, just like this was a good zone to buy, right? Like when you're entrenched, and it's obvious in hindsight, right? It's obvious in hindsight, but I'm saying these are obvious. If you use that obvious kind of scope, what does this look like in comparison to this whole range that we're in right now in the RSI, right? It even goes all the way back here. Like you can just use your eyes and see relative to whatever trend we're in, it's a decent area to buy, I think, and you've already started to expand out, I think, into that next phase up that will take you to your overbought zone where you will see expansive movements, right? Just like you did last time, just like you did the time before, slightly higher highs, right? And just like you did the time before that where you saw significantly higher highs. So yes, I do expect this next move will take you up. I think iron will actually experience less turbulence on its way up than any of the other stocks we've talked about so far, with the exception of ANTE. That's kind of a wild one. It's an X factor curveball. Anything could happen with that, right? I'm not expecting crazy things, but maybe. You never know. You're at 950 right now. $20, man. $28, $30, maybe even beyond that by the end of the year. Yeah, I definitely think so. But that's in the bag. Weekly RSI, very bullish. Daily RSI, and I want to look real quick what you did last time. All the way up to the 1414. So I mean, and you didn't really hit deeper extensions on any of these other moves. I wouldn't expect that you break out of this trend, right? It's kind of like a channel, right? Moving up, like here's your ascending lows, here's your ascending highs, right? This channel, it's not the best strong line. I kind of curved it at the bottom there, but I'm not expecting that you break out of this channel to the upside, but you can. Just because it's sloped to the upside doesn't mean you can't break it to the upside. That happens too. A lot of people think you have to break a downward trend to the upside, right? But you can have upward trends, right? I guess that's not an upward higher highs. You can break upward trends to the upside. Those is all I'm trying to say. But I wouldn't think you do. You're at 949. I really do think the highest that you would go would be about $29 by the end of this move. Not by the end of the cycle, just by the end of the year, by the end of this move. That's kind of my expectation. But 20 to $30, something like that. Okay, very easy. Nothing really else to add to that, honestly. Daily RSI looks great. It looks very bullish. You know, it might not have the most gains from here till the end of the year compared to some of these other ones, but it's one that I'm the most confident in. And I am so confident in it, man, that like it genuinely could surprise us. That's the only reason why I was talking about breaking out of an upward sloping trend. Even though we're doing that and it's not common, you genuinely could. It does happen. So just be prepared for that, right? Because we look at this thing from an overall perspective, from the all-time high. That was not the high. Come on, buddy. Here we go. There we go. Right there. Right on it. And get down to the low here. You know, you have broken through your 618 already. You are going up to interact with this 886 zone, right? That's at a minimum of $20. That was your minimum target based off of this high to low fib here, right? Your minimum target. When you look very bullish, this is one of the most bullish looking charts, in my opinion, actually, out of the ones we've gone over so far for this cycle specifically. Obviously, for this cycle specifically, it hadn't existed beforehand, but that's your minimum target is the 886. What's great about that is that's your minimum target. I keep saying it for a reason, because it's the minimum. If you go above the minimum, you're breaking above the 886 over here. If you go up to either of these two zones, which are very possible zones, you could even go above it, right? Like I was saying, you break above the 886 of this fib, that means it's on to new all-time highs. The extensions of this fib, right? That's what that means. So the minimum target of this move that you're in now could promote a larger move overall, again, giving that idea that you could break out of this trend. On this next move, it's really possible, but let's stay grounded. Let's focus on that $20 to $30 area. Let's see how we react when we get there, probably by the end of the year, and then we can determine if we're going to continue past that or maybe find resistance in an area that you're likely to find resistance in. So, but that's kind of the game plan at the moment. So if you like the video, guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I will see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. And that's it. Bye-bye.